In this episode of the narrative film, we will take a look at how the various types of sequences aid the filmmaker in telling a visual story. As we have shown in previous episodes, a linear sequence is a sequence that presents its shots in strict chronological order. There is also a cause-to-effect relationship between shots. This gives the impression of a continuous run of action without breaks. A linear sequence can be organized into what can be referred to as an elliptical linear sequence, skipping ahead in chronological order in a way that moves more quickly than would occur in real time, but in a way that gets the point across and quickly gets us to the meat of a scene. Let's reorganize the beginning of our sequence into an elliptical sequence. The action now moves in a much more condensed and economical fashion. A sequence can also be organized into a montage sequence. Montage sequencing was pioneered by early 20th century Russian filmmaker Sergei Eisenstein. He departed from the linear narrative in an even more dramatic fashion than did Griffith. Eisenstein wished to exploit film in such a way as to compare and contrast shots to make a more meaningful and artistic impact. Rather than following a linear story, the montage flashed images from an event, at times slowing down and speeding up time and leaping across space. While there are few filmmakers who employ the montage to the degree to which Eisenstein did, the montage has become a very important way of organizing a sequence to aid the telling of a story of a film. Some characteristics of the montage sequence are: the shots may or may not be in chronological order. A montage also has the effect of compressing time. The shots usually are designed to convey a sense of considerable amount of activity or progress within a few shots. The most common way to present a montage sequence is with a soundtrack. We can organize our sequence into a montage. Here's an excerpt from the montage sequence of our film, A Superhero's Best Friend. A young man has discovered that his best friend has superhuman abilities and wants to develop him into a superhero. Look to see how this sequence serves the purpose of a montage sequence.
Lion, tiger, at least there's no EYE, and there's no we in superhero. There's only one, and that is me. My superpowers aren't just awesome, they're a responsibility. You know the world could be my oyster, except for my humility. I'm a hero, a superhero, one of a kind in every way. I'm a hero, a superhero, and superheroes save the day.
Most sequences follow or highlight the action of a scene. However, it's also common and effective to organize the action of a sequence around an object, whether the sequence is linear or montage. This type of organization leads to what can be referred to as an associative sequence. For instance, we can say that this sequence is linear in structure, But we can also say that the letter in the sequence gives it an associative organization. The action in this sequence is organized around the letter. The focus of the viewer is kept on the letter until the consequences of its content become the main issue of the scene. In Alfred Hitchcock's film Notorious, the character, played by Ingrid Bergman, suspects that her new husband is hiding something in the house. In an attempt to learn what it is that he may be keeping from her, she innocently asks for the keys so that she may search. The sequence is an elliptical linear sequence using dissolve to jump over time, but it changes to a montage sequence organized around the opening of the doors. We can say that the key also makes the sequence an associative sequence, since the shots are organized around the key itself.
Mr. Sebastian has the key for this, madame. It's the wine cellar.
So a sequence is an assembly of shots that develops into a unit of action we refer to as a scene. Very often, the scenes develop into a more sophisticated sequence. A filmmaker organizes these scenes in a way that cues the audience to the action and tells a story with compelling narrative images and sounds. In the next episode, we will see how an editor fine-tunes a sequence to keep the audience focused on the narrative, how the craft of editing is used to either disguise the technique or, in some cases, the technique becomes apparent to create a noticeable impression. We'll see you next time.